Hello, everybody. Dr. Rick Wallace dropping in on you. I hope everybody's having an unbelievable week. It's already Thursday. It's amazing how time flies. I hope that you have experienced at least a certain level of success over the course of this week. I hope that you've gotten your day off to a great start. But remember, no matter where you're at, no matter what you're going through, no matter how difficult it seems, if you're still breathing, you're still in the fight. Never give up. Never surrender to your circumstances or your situations. Never allow a bad situation or a bad moment to define you. If you're still breathing, you're still in the fight. Get up, dust yourself off, and continue on. It's not about those who are able to circumvent struggle, disappointment, frustration, heartache, setbacks, delay, and all these things that are part of the equation of success. It's those who persevere. It's those who are relentless and refuse to give in and refuse to turn back that win. I'm challenging and encouraging you that no matter where you're at, you continuously move forward. I just wanted to start out with that. I want to encourage you to understand that it's not about the moment. You've got to be committed beyond the moment, because sometimes the circumstances of the moment aren't what you need or what you want. Sometimes the situations you're in aren't reflective of the desires you have. You can't give up. You cannot give up. You cannot turn around. You've got to make up in your mind that no matter what, I'm pushing through this thing. Um, as I move on, I want to remind you that there are some resources in the description box, no matter where you're watching this video, that will uh, stand as resources to where you can do a number of different things, including working directly with yours truly. Also, if you want to participate in the sponsorship program for my 25th book, yes, I'm excited. I'm at book 25. I'm currently at the beginning stages of writing book number 25, and I have opened up sponsorship space on the book, meaning people can literally sponsor space in the book to pay tribute to people they care about. If you want to participate in that and be a part of that, read description box, click the link and go find out more. And if you feel like participating, awesome. All right, let's talk. I have a question. I'm starting this off with a question. What are you doing with what you have? What are you doing with what you have? I hear people all the time talking about what they want. I hear people complaining about the fact that they don't have enough. I hear people talking about it would be nice to have. But my question to you isn't centered around what you don't have. It's what are you doing with what you do have? Now, that's important to understand. What are you doing with what you do have? See, sometimes we can become so inundated and consumed by what we don't have that we lose sight of the capacity to operate and function and produce with what we do have. Sometimes what we don't have is because we haven't used what we do have to advance us forward. Also, focusing on what we don't have takes us into a place of concentration on lack, concentration on negativity, a focus on complaining, and complaining takes us away from gratitude. Moving away from gratitude shuts the gate of abundance. Let me make myself clear. Gratitude is the gateway to abundance. When you learn how to be thankful for what you do have, when you learn how to access what you do have, you will be surprised at what you are able to accomplish, what you're able to create, what you're able to do. When you get so caught up in the negative side of the equation, you lose sight of your power. See, that's why the serenity prayer is so important, because it focuses you on what you have the power to change. It focuses you on where you do have power and force. So many people are focused on what they don't have, what they can't get, what they, all those things. It's nothing wrong with having desires for good things, especially when you plan to do great things with them. But what you got to understand is it begins with being grateful for what you have. See, the mind of gratitude and gratefulness is the key and the gateway to abundance. You can't get there by focusing on negative things. It's absolutely impossible. Because, see, as you think you are, your thoughts are the seeds of your destiny. And if your thoughts are filled with negativity, your thoughts are filled with the idea of lack, your thoughts are filled with all the things that you just can't seem to have, you become powerless through your own thinking. You're now operating through limited beliefs that are governed by your focus on what you don't have instead of your intent to move in what you do have. What are you doing with what you have? A lot of you can never get to the things you desire because you're not doing anything with what you already have. You're not showing gratitude and gratefulness for what you have. You're not accessing and using what you have. You're not taking action. And some of you are frustrated. Well, I've tried, and I can't seem to. What happens? See, trying doesn't have an expiration date on it. Effort doesn't have an expiration date on it. Being committed to finishing doesn't have an expiration date on it. It doesn't say, well, I've given it 90 days. I've given it 6 months. I've given it a year. I've even given it 2 or 3 years. And nothing. If you say that it's worth having, you've got to be willing to fight for it. You've got to be willing to put in the work and be consistent with it. See, in order to achieve your goal, you will have to display 2 things: discipline and consistency. You got to take action and you've got to do it consistently. See, it's not about your feelings, it's about your commitment. That's why self-discipline is so important. People think they need motivation. No, you don't need motivation. You need discipline. You need to be able to get up, and no matter how you feel, no matter what's going on today, no matter what people are saying, no matter how bad things turned out yesterday, you're going to get it done. You're going to wake up and do what's necessary, not based on how you feel, but based on a commitment you made to yourself, made to your wife, made to your family, made to your husband, made to your children, made to God. It's not about ease. This isn't about a life of ease. This isn't about things folding and laying down for you in life. That's not where greatness is birthed. Greatness is birthed and cultivated in the fertile soil of adversity. You want your faith to be powerful, you got to be willing to move into some adversity. Let me tell you something. There's nobody on this planet Earth. I have had the awesome opportunity and privilege of working with almost every type of person you can imagine. I've worked with people with Down syndrome, people with autism, people who have been considered and labeled in school throughout school as learning disabled, intellectually challenged. I've worked with people who have come from places of poverty. I've worked with people who are exceptionally wealthy. This is what I can tell you. I have yet to come in contact with someone who does not have a gift. That's something inside of them that they can access to. Matter of fact, one of my clients who had Asperger's, which is on the high spectrum of autism, is running an international organization now. Don't tell me what can't be done. You've got to sit up and look for the things you're capable of doing, work out of those things, develop yourself through the things you have the power to move in to do things. But let me tell you something that I found. While everybody has a gift and a skill to be successful, not everybody has the courage to fail. Doc, what are you talking about? See, failure is inevitable. Failure is coming. Failure is coming. When I was an athlete in high school, football coach say failure is not an option. So you get this in your mind that I can never fail. Well, the truth of it is you're going to fail. You're going to fail at things probably more than you succeed. Failure is what builds the muscle for success. Failure is what builds the consistency and the confidence over time. Once you get to something you fail enough, eventually you conquer it. When you first sit down and you try to squat 400, you can only squat 350, but you keep working with that 350. You work with what you have. You keep working with that 350, it becomes 375, it becomes 385, 395. Whoa, here I am at 400. Now I'm moving on past 400 and I've set my sights on something. Before you know it, you're up to 5 plus 6. And you are looking and saying, man, I remember when I could only do 350, but I worked with what I had. But if I would have been afraid to fail, afraid of people seeing that I could only squat 350, you can't see. A lot of people, everybody has a skill set. You're gifted whether you know it or not. See, a lot of times we're in cultures and environments that ignore the gift. We're in environments that want us to focus on some standardized idea of what is and lose sight of who we are. And so we don't even realize how gifted we are. But I tell you, every last one of you has a skill set and a gift. Now you need to beat on your craft. You need to hone your craft. You need to focus and grow and intensify the capacity of your craft, but it's there. That's not the problem. Having the skill to be successful isn't the problem. Having the talent to be successful isn't the problem. The thing is, do you have the courage to fail? Because you're going to have to fail your way forward. I remember my mentor telling me 30 plus years ago, you're going to actually exceed me in the area of success. I see it. And I said, how? Say, you have no problem failing forward. And again, this is during a time where I'm still not getting the concept of failure. I don't want failure associated with my name. So I'm saying, what do you mean? He says, you set your goals so high that it's almost inevitable that you're going to fail the first try. You're not going to get there at the time you think you are, but you don't quit. You don't even let it stop you or bother you. You just keep going until you get there. You got this relentlessness about you that allows you to fail over and over again, but you always fail forward. You fall forward. You move forward. You've got to have a courage to be willing to fail in order to succeed. It ain't that you're not equipped for success. It's that you're not prepared to fail in order to get there. If you can't see an absolute win, you won't take it. Well, hey, the real things worth having in life require risk. It requires you to step out beyond the pain, beyond the fear, beyond the certainty, to move in places that you've never moved before. You got to be willing to fail in order to succeed. Why so many are meandering through the maze of mediocrity is because that's where everybody hangs out. That's where if you just show up every day and do what you're told, you get a pat on the back, you get a check, and maybe in 5 years you get a reward for 5 years of service, and nobody talks about any failures because all I got to do is show up. No, but see, that's a problem. We live in a participation trophy culture. You get rewarded just for showing up. You didn't produce anything. You just showed up. You didn't have to go beyond your comfort zone. You just had to show up. And now you're wondering why you're deep into your life and you can't produce any because all you are used to doing is showing up. You've got to stand up and move beyond that. You got to go out into a place where you're no longer the smartest person in the room. You got to go out into a place where you're no longer the most preeminent in doing something, that you're not the most. You got to go into a space where everybody there has done more than you in order for you to expand yourself and reach out and do the things that you need to do. You got to be willing to fail. You got to be willing to be embarrassed at times. There's got to be a level of discipline and consistency. There's got to be the courage to fail. You've got to be willing to move beyond the pain and the fear. Somebody said, well, how do you know if it's for you? Well, if you have an idea or a concept or a belief in a higher power, I'm not going to tell you what that power should be. I'm not going to approach you. I'm going to let you operate in your spectrum of faith. But if you have a belief in the Most High, the Almighty, in God, and you believe God to be benevolent, you believe that God opens up doors, you believe God can do great things. If you believe in any shape, form, or fashion, this isn't about relation. This isn't about religion. This is about direct relationship, being directly connected to the source. Now, if God is benevolent and God is the reason that you're here, then would God creating you the ability to desire something in your heart or to conceive it in your mind when you could never have it? That would be the opposite of good and benevolent, right? That would be cruel. You can conceive something and you can yearn for it, but you'll never have it. That's torture, right? And that's not the way most of us view a benevolent God. So the very fact that you can conceive it in your mind and you can have a yearning passion for it is God's evidence that it's possible. The very fact that you can conceive it in your mind and the very fact that you can have a yearning for it in your heart is God's evidence that it's possible. But see, being possible and achieving it is two different things. Now that you know it's possible, you have to take action. Now that you know it's possible, you have to take action. God is revealed in the conduit of behavior and faith. And faith is the activity following the belief that pushes you into different situations. Then God is revealed. You have to be willing to take action. You have to be willing to move forward. You have to be willing to step outside of your comfort zone. Ain't nothing happening in your character isn't built in your comfort. Integrity isn't developed in your comfort zone. Character is built in adversity. Character is built through trying times. Character is built when things aren't going your way. That's when you discover what you're really made of. Anybody can do XYZ when everything's going the way that they want it to go. That's not where you determine where you are and how much character and integrity you have. It's when things aren't going well. It's when people are talking behind your back. It's when you've had 4 or 5 different setbacks in a matter of a short period of time. It's when it seems like no matter what you try, it just doesn't seem. That's when you determine what you're made of, what you're built of, what you can trust about who you are. Oh, you got to develop some things, and that's going to require you to go through some things. That's life. You are going to have to be willing to step out beyond the comfort zone. Oh, yeah. But that's where greatness awaits you. That's where greatness will consume you. I'll leave you with this. I've shared this with you many times before, but I'm going to leave you with this. My grandfather taught me many lessons growing up. I mean, a man with a second grade education has taught me more in my life before the age of 20 than I've learned in the next 34 years. But hey, let me tell you something. He told me when I was 17, this is the message. This is the lesson that never escapes me. This is the lesson that stuck more than anything. He said, son, you're going to be in one of 3 places. You're either going into a storm, in a storm, or coming out of one. Don't waste your time when you find yourself in a storm. Don't waste your time trying to figure out who got you there so you can point the finger of blame. In most situations, it was a decision you made that landed you there. Don't worry about that. What you need to focus on, son, is that while your only responsibility while you're in the storm is to ensure that you come out the storm a better man than when you went in. Let the storm groom you. Let the storm forge a level of fortitude and promise in you. Let the storm develop you and grow you, strengthen you, and make you what you need to be to move forward to the next challenge. He says, son, if you learn this lesson, this one lesson that I'm teaching today, he said, you won't have to pursue greatness. It'll overtake you. That's my challenge. Let greatness overtake you. Let greatness overtake. Stop chasing it and start being. Start doing something with what you already have. On that note, I'm getting ready to get out of here. Like I said, check the description box. I would love to have all you guys as sponsors on this next book project. You can actually memorialize or pay tribute to anybody you want to in the book. And you can sponsor for any amount. There's no minimum sponsorship. I just want to have people a part of this, and I want to show love, and I want you to be a part of it. On that note, I'm going to get out of here. You guys have an unbelievable day. Remember, if you're still breathing, you're still in the fight.